this may be the first time people are out at a public meeting and hearing some of the information. And I actually just spoke to staff today about reviewing that report and actually sitting down with you, because I do want to have that dialogue.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for your comments. I think they're very thoughtful. When I say thoughtful, because I know you never come here with collectively as an organization, whether we agree all the time or not, but I know you've thought about the issue. I can agree with you more, and I think this council, and I go back to actually the two previous councils as well, I think when it comes to the infrastructure that we control and that we have, I'll just say, more of a say in, I think we have followed through and made a commitment on important pieces of infrastructure, some of them ahead of schedule. So you just take a look at what we've done on Roddick Road and building the overpass there, pushing through Enterprise Drive in a time when there wasn't not one single condominium building on Enterprise Drive, pushing through Birchmount Avenue and the underpass to connect to 14th Avenue and beyond. I don't want to go through all the list, but the infrastructure.
Yeah, no, I agree.
So the infrastructure, I'll tell you that we're in direct control of.
Yeah.
We have pushed through. We've tried to, and the only time that we've been stalled on stuff even that we completely control is actually getting provincial approval. So the bridge on Birchmount Avenue took us almost 4 years to get approval from M&R. We put in plans that far exceeded their level of expectation, and it still took us 3.5 years to get approval out of M&R. I don't want to go through the whole list. That's on the road side. I'll tell you, since I've become mayor, we have now opened up 2 major community centers. Now, I haven't had time to go back and check, and I've been impressed with some of our previous mayors. I don't think any mayor in the history of Markham has ever opened up 2 major community centers within a span of less than 10 years. The unique community center that just opened its doors is actually ahead of when we weren't supposed to start construction of that when we did. We advanced that community center, again, recognizing that the needs out there in the community are growing. And I'll love to talk to you about some of the other things, because I agree with you. Some of our regional roads have fallen behind. Some of that, unfortunately, was the doing of a previous council many years ago that actually asked the region to stop looking at widening regional roads, and now we're paying the price. And I can tell you that at the region, we've at least now commenced the environmental assessments to, in fact, improve those roads. So I agree with you. And on the phasing, by the way, it won't be just phasing in relation to infrastructure. One of the things that I hope we'll do as a council and a staff, and cooperate with the development community, is to actually develop this new area in a much more organized fashion than even OPA 5 was done. I think one of the things that we had to contend with was with communities that got started and didn't get completed, some of them, until 10 years later or 15 years later. And that's not always possible to do that 100%, but absolutely there'll be, I think, a better flow to how the development unfolds in these secondary plans compared to even the last one. So I agree with you, but again, I want to make sure, and perfect, I have no problem with issues that get raised, no problem even with criticism. But I also want you to put some things in context that we as a council here have pushed through some major projects, some of them well in advance of when the plans actually called for.
I would love to